little... Get the personal stuff out of the way real quick here. Upon further review, the move is not going to happen until June 1st, really.
Yeah, or thereabouts.
One, the money's taking its sweet-ass time getting into us, and also some things are happening down in Florida that they wouldn't be ready for us down there. The weather's a little unstable, and we don't have working wipers yet, so we want to make sure it's going to stay dry all the way down. And also, we would be in a much better position on the 1st. We use the fundraising money we have, so when we will get to clear up a couple of things here and there, and then we'll be in a much stronger position to go down there.
And shout out to
also a shout out to Starbucks here at 50th and Kipling. They have been very good to us. Most of the Starbucks have been good to us anyway.
Yeah, but this
a few
one
hiccups
especially.
on Russell, but this one's been really good. They haven't thrown us out yet. They didn't give us a few things, so. But yeah, on with the meat here. Klingorcs. Thank you, Victor Van Doomcock, our future Lord and Savior of Earth, for coining that phrase, because that sums up exactly what we are dealing with in Discovery. Not Klingons. Sort of Neanderthal Klingons, caveman Klingons. The kind of idiots who have open flames on board a spaceship where oxygen is at a premium. Who eat their enemies. Who the hell thought this up? Okay, clearly Brian Fuller has spent a little too much time on Hannibal. He was a showrunner on Hannibal.
Holy.
Yes, and one character it makes it interesting. You turn to just when were the Klingons ever cannibals? Really? No. We got. And I don't know what they've written on the Bible, but the way they go for it is this, guys. What we suspected was true. These are primitive, earlier Klingons that broke away from the rest of Klingon society. Probably about one that they just starting interstellar flight, and maybe going back as far as Kahless himself. And sometime within the past 50 years or so, they managed to retake Kronos. The Klingons we know are off somewhere else for a while, biding their time, waiting for these idiots to screw it up themselves, or at least an opportunity to come in and take back Kronos. While these guys go around being all big and primitive and cannibalizing and just being general jackasses. And I think the little resolution where we're giving L'Rell the trigger to a doomsday bomb might actually provide these, more mainline Klingons their opportunity to do just that. Because think about it, that's the most idiotic resolution in the world. You're going to have someone who has no status whatsoever in Klingon society. You're going to give them the trigger to the bomb. Well, guess what? All it would take is she's holding that thing up here. Even assuming they figure out what the hell she's holding up. Somebody in the background shoots her. Now who's going to set off the bomb? He's going to be hailed as the savior of the entire race. And it's like a bomb with no triggers is not a bomb. It's just something sitting down there. But suppose the someone who comes up and attacks her is one of these other race of Klingons, either the smooth-headed or the ridge ones. And before he comes up, beats the crap out of her. Before she dies, takes her hand, activates the bomb with a cry of "Long live the Empire." Kronos gets flambéed. We got a big old Klingon clam bake right there in Kronos. Kill everybody else off, and then the rest of them come back, clean things up, retake the Empire, and let the Federation know that, okay, order has been restored, let's talk. Because they're not going to want to give up all that territory willingly, but they probably overextend themselves. And that would bring things back to the state they were at Errand of Mercy. Treaty negotiations, disputed territories. I think they would, again, they're having to rebuild themselves, so they're not going to want to hold on all of Federation territory. That's just a little too much even for them and their galaxy-sized egos. But they'll want to hold on to some of the gains. But it's just a momentary blip in Klingon history when the home world was ruled by a bunch of savages, even by Klingon standards. Until some heroic, Klingon came in and sacrificed himself for the good of the Empire and getting rid of these jackasses once and for all. And that's how you fix the Klingon issue. How they got there in the first place, you can also pretty further explain. This would take care of the rest of the timeline too. Basically, somehow, another offshoot of the temporal Cold War going weird. Because it's a timeline. You probably got branching timelines all over the place. Because this is what happened when Archer didn't hit the button right. He took too long to hit the reset button, or didn't hit it at all. One of them, one is the JJ verse. Another one is this one. And as far as the show goes, as far as Enterprise goes, we just followed the mainline timeline. But this is what happened when he waited a couple seconds too long, or a couple days too long, whatever, to get everything straightened out, and the rest was chaos. The Enterprise gets bigger because the war doesn't go the same way, and because of other things, the Klingons lose control of Kronos for a while. But you can even put this in the mainline timeline, because either way, you get rid of these idiots before you get into, long before Errand of Mercy and you see Klingons. But the big thing is you have to, if you try the thing of, they've always looked like this, no, they have not. They have never looked like this, and they've never been these overly latex-headed, mush-mouthed, savages who eat people. And none of the ships look anything like... This is beyond 25% different, okay? What JJ did with the Klingon ships is 25% different, but they still look like Klingon ships, at least. At least the D7s and the Kobayashi Maru thing, they're kind of ridiculous with the guns on the side there, but at least they still look like Klingon ships. These don't resemble anything Star Trek, let alone Klingons. So you can just say these were ancient race of Klingons that were dying off, and this is their last gasp at relevance, and they were using ancient technology. Because who the hell knew they'll say these ships are using aren't like a couple hundred years old, or maybe 1,000 years old, who knows. Back then, yes, they did revere the dead. They put the corpses all over the ship, and they ate people, and this is why they were overthrown, because they were just too much even for the Klingons to bear. But that's how you fix it. You make sure that by the time you hit the original series, these guys are gone. That's how you at least make a half-assed attempt at trying to fix things. Because again, Alex, Les, if you try and pass the rest of the show as this is the way it was, you're going to get all kinds of people sending in clips from the cage and where no man has gone before, and saying, this is where you're bracketed, this does not fit. This makes no sense. And I don't care how much it's one thing to pick out the canon of shows that have already been produced. And again, and Next Gen and DS9 and Enterprise, they all tried to stay true to the original series. This show isn't even trying. And Johnny's sort of let the cat out of the bag that you're prohibiting them from trying. Despite the fact that they came back, we have full legal rights to use any design we want, so use them. Call the bluff, use it. Let's see an actual Klingon D7, as seen in the original show up here, and that'll be the thing here. Show a fleet of D7s coming back to Kronos after you've steam cleaned the entire planet. And you got, heaps of, flash fried Klingon, the Klingorcs all over the planet they got to clean up. And heaping them all in a great big, funeral pyre in the middle of the first city. Because, as this is, you got one more season, but yeah, Netflix ain't gonna pay for this anymore. CBS is paying for their own, and that means it's time to perform, guys. You had a free ride with Netflix pick up on the bill, and Netflix ain't doing that again. In fact, it's taking this long, and the licensees they're still not lined up to do models of the Discovery or any of the ships on there. So you don't have a selling. And again, everyone's like, it's a hit series. Prove it. What are the numbers? CBS All Access ain't releasing the numbers. And you think if it really was a hit, we'd see the numbers because they'd want to prove it. They're just, this is just happy talk on their part. So until I see some actual viewing numbers, it's doing enough for them to justify a second season. But I think also they're not going to admit that they screwed up by canceling the thing early. So we'll get a second season just out of spite. And for those who say, well, you hate it so much, why are you watching it? Well, one, I think it's part of my job here to take a look at it, analyze it, and report my findings. But also, I didn't pay to see the first season. I had other means to do it. We started, getting CBS All Access after the last episode aired, and I have yet to click on. And Steph has watched it a couple things just to refresh the memory, but otherwise, I'm watching anything but. I dragged up the original series episodes for research purposes, and we've generally been watching the soap operas and some of the primetime lineup in CBS, and the Good Fight, But we're not bothering with Discovery. It's not because it's all for the old shows and the other current stuff. Instinct, SWAT, the sitcoms, MacGyver, And again, we're not the target demographic that they're going for. They're going for the hip youngster, millennial type, not the almost baby boomer, gray-haired ass who can legitimately claim that yes, we watched the show when it was on NBC back in the '60s. I was only 2.5 when it premiered, but I have a good authority that I was there watching it with my dad.
I was born somewhere in between the first and second season.
Steph was, during the hiatus of the first and second season. Well, August. Yeah, it was just like a week or two before the second season premiere.
Something like that.
Yeah. And almost 2 years old when it ended, but definitely there for the first run of syndication. I was very, very clearly remember when it finally had big time syndication. Because I think before '74, occasional. Channel 9, I think, would run in one in the afternoon here and there. But it was just like, whatever, whoever wants to run it, here they are. But it was when the Kaiser stations got the big package. And it really hit me. Because I remember watching the animated series and knowing it was not the original. So there wasn't, I don't have the big discovery moment of when, the first, I had always known about it. It was ubiquitous, like Santa Claus, and you just know it. It was like I was drawing pictures of Superman and Batman before. I apparently when I was like 2 or something, because I find these things that I don't remember drawing this, but it was clearly me who did it. So I was doing something at that age, and it was like Superman, Batman, Star Trek. That was my mythology as a toddler. And I was so excited because now I can finally watch these shows and watch them and remember them. Channel 4, 4 o'clock in the afternoon after school, and they showed them in production order, and they hadn't been cut yet. They were still the full-length episode. They hadn't been butchered for more commercial time yet. It's also I'm a big proponent of, and you want to list the episodes and watch them in production order. You can see the progression. Air date order, I don't know why they still, some people still think that's some kind of sacrosanct. Those episodes were aired in whatever order they were available in. Because when September 8th rolled around, they wanted to do a sneak preview episode, they didn't have very many that were ready for air. And the few they did have, only in the Man Trap really worked as a premiere episode. The rest of them, it's like, I think the Naked Time was ready, but that required you to know the characters, really, to appreciate what they were going through. And a couple other ones, like Mud's Women, I think was probably also ready, but that one, that was just a little too cheeseball for him. Corbomite Maneuver would have been perfect, but it wasn't ready because it's really effects heavy, and there were problems with the effects shots really going on. But you had like Enemy Within, Naked Time, like a handful of them that were ready for air, and the only one that halfway qualified as something presentable for a first peek at this thing was the man trap. And it's also been pointed out by Richard Arnold that it was also the first episode in which anybody actually died. Everyone, the rest of them, it's like, everyone seems okay at the end. This one's like, people died. And that's a big action thing for, for TV in the 60s. Yeah, somebody died, all right, that's the way it goes. What's an action adventure show? That's what action adventure is, people getting killed. And we're getting off on a tangent here. So, PayPal, Patreon, down below. And, yeah, even, right now, we only, I think maybe $5-10 here and there. Because we're just trying to fill the gap here until that stupid money shows up. At that point, we're back on our own power and start getting there. But I am a little concerned because I got some tuna salad mixed up, so we can at least get sandwiches for tomorrow. But beyond that, it's like, you don't want to see my bank account. Yeah, PayPal's not much better. So, catch you later.